This is not something that was on my bucket list for today, my docket, as it were, but the Witcher 4 cinematic trailer that they dropped, like Game Awards, I think it was, back in December. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. Loved it. Wish you were there. But we haven't really heard anything since then. And then out of nowhere, they just dropped on their official pages the cinematic reveal trailer behind the scenes. So it's a behind the scenes look at the making of that trailer, which is awesome. I love the behind the scenes stuff. I love seeing how these things are made. So we're gonna watch it. Buckle up, buckaroo. Here we go. I'm excited to see how they went about making this. Let's see.
We felt that this is the moment to tell the story with Ciri.
She's been through a lot. She has a strong moral compass, I would say, and she can use these emotions to act.
Ciri is all about becoming the Witcher, and she is very determined to follow this path.
It's not gameplay though. I mean, yeah, it's a cinematic trailer. No, nobody was saying it was gameplay.
At the very first meeting with CDPR, I saw like how much you want to ground this story in the past, at the same time giving a start to a new saga.
We were thinking in this story that Mjolnir and Ciri are a little bit mirrors of each other. The traditions of Stromford essentially mean that Mjolnir has to be sacrificed. That's her destiny, and she accepted that destiny. Ciri is known as someone who does...
See, dude, I love that stuff. That, like, the passes showing them adding stuff and where it starts to where it ends up. I love this kind of thing. From the gray box to adding in the extra assets, building it out. Oh my God, I love seeing how this happens. Because everybody thinks that you just kind of end up with the final product, but no. A lot of the time, these things start super simple and bare, and then they develop into something really cool. But it's all about iteration. It's about that process of adding and changing and shifting things based on feedback. And then it ends up just stunning.
Ciri is known as someone who does not accept destiny. She fights back at it.
Ciri was exactly feeling what Mjolnir could feel. Even just looking at her, hearing, her voice trembling when she goes, I shall be, the bringer of salvation. And you can hear that there is a duty in that. There is something you grew up with. There's something you should do, but like deep inside, you know that this is bad. So they have a very brief interaction in the woods when she says like, save yourself, right? That this is something that your older sister would say, your friend, you're someone close to you. Just from this brief interaction, she can exactly know what she is.
Should we try to like
you're someone
creep?
Close to you.
Oh man, I love seeing these behind the scenes things. I love it so much. I don't know why, but it just gets me so interested in like the first passes, how they have things blocked, how they have things set up. Oh my God, I love it.
It's just from this brief interaction, she can exactly know what she is feeling. And she's like, your life is more important than those stupid superstition that your village grew up with. One of the really important things was for the viewers to feel as Ciri would feel, so you could see how the story unfolds together with her and get the same emotional flow as she would get as she was trying to fix the issue of the village. The way she kills the monster, the way she reacts to the people killing Mjolnir, it's different than what Geralt would do. She lives through these emotions, she's connected with herself.
So all we wanted were to go to the woods, to go to the god.
We always try to walk around Slavic style and be coherent with Sapkowski's book. I believe the style for characters, faces, hairstyles. You can find this kind of faces somewhere in the villages there and there. That's why it's very important to see the range of possibilities in the whole Central Europe.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
why it's
dude.
very
What's the
important to
text
see
say?
the range of
High cheekbones, straight or slightly upturned noses, deep set, expressive eyes in shades of blue, green, or brown, and fair to olive skin.
possibilities in the whole Central Europe.
Just the ambiguity of the whole story itself, I think it also plays very much to the way Sapkowski was crafting his Witcher stories. And it's like, it's also very in our Eastern European mentality, that like those shades of gray everywhere and not clear choices and the famous lesser evil.
It was a huge project. From the beginning, from the story that we created with our director and with CDPR team, and then the huge mock-up session. It lasted for like 14 days. A lot of people were engaged, and I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't be this amazing if we hadn't had such an amazing crew.
I think it's so cool that a trailer that's not that long can take 14 days to shoot. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Like 14 days for a few minutes.
We want you as a viewer to get really into this world, to get close to these characters, to understand what they're going through, because this world is brutal, it's visceral, it's grounded, and we want you to feel it.
The whole idea for the trailer was that we want to have natural looking camera, not artificial one, not CGI. That's why we decided to record all those virtual cameras on stage and then later use it.
In a trailer, for example, when you see Siri, when she enters the fog, you can see that she's confused, that she doesn't know where to look, that the camera is more aggressive with motion, and we wanted to express more of this confusion. We wanted to have this glimpse of truth in it.
But also there are scenes when magic happens, and then we want to switch from those handheld cameras to more like creative one.
The style completely changes, so we go with cranes now, we go with dollies.
That was quite a lot of work to animate them properly and have this magical feeling to them. And they are no longer handheld, they are all created by the animators. There are this...
Yeah, good luck to the cameraman holding that angle, like swinging around arms and stuff. Dude, the motion, like the camera shake, it's often something that when done properly, you don't really notice, you know? It's just like, oh, I'm immersed. I feel like I'm actually there. But then also sometimes it's like totally overdone. Do you guys, this is a deep cut. Do you guys remember the Jason Bourne movies? Maybe it's not that deep of a cut. They were very successful, very popular movies. But I remember the first time I watched one of those, just being like, what the hell is happening? Are they having a, like, is the director having like a seizure while trying to film this? Because the whole camera is like shaking like crazy while they're going through it. I would show it on stream if we didn't get immediately like flagged and demonetized, but it was like it was really difficult to to watch, frankly, at times, because it's just like, my brain is getting shaken, dude. You couldn't see anything. And part of the benefit of that is like, I'm sure you can save money on like sets and save money on traveling to certain locations and stuff, because it's like, oh, the camera's going to shake so much nobody can see any details. It's whatever. It's like with Game of Thrones, when they did that like big fight, I forget what fight it was, but they did the big fight and then it was so dark, everybody on social media was complaining that you couldn't see anything. And it's like, yeah, we made it dark so we didn't have to like render as much detail in the CGI and stuff. It's like, oh, it's a good idea. Yeah, I guess you could do that. Now, also people can't, see anything you're trying to show them in the actual footage, but whatever.
No longer handheld, they're all created by the animators. There are these nuances that we really want to take care of and to make it feel real.
Oh yeah, to be clear, Hebamiro, I agree that the camera shake in concept makes it way more immersive. It feels like you're actually part of the chaos and it kind of immerses you in that unsettling thing. I think sometimes though it can absolutely go too far and get overused. And I think with the Bourne movies, it started getting to the point where it's like, okay, are we just like, we're going crazy? Especially because later, I remember watching a whole thing on like one of the last Jason Bourne movies, like one of the VFX guys, I don't know if it was Corridor Digital or who it was, but one of those VFX YouTube channels, they broke it down and they were showing how they were using like post-production digital camera shake. So it wasn't even like the cameraman holding the camera moving naturally in the space while filming the sequence. They were adding a digital shake to it to make it, I guess, appear as though they were doing it, but it just ended up looking terrible and being really jarring and like motion sickness inducing. So sometimes it can go too far, I think.
Really like a movie.
But this I thought was done well.
We organized 3 shooting days with rented movie gear. We had lenses that we picked before, and we gather lots and lots of shots with different features on it, like distortions, lens flares, bloom, how the bokeh behaves. Based on that, we could really create digital representation of those lenses, gathering all those features so we can really have something unique, and I'm pretty glad about it because this was something I think pretty extraordinary in a gaming engine.
Isn't it amazing how the real world lens test does look so much like the trailer?
This was something
But it's why they always say, if you're going to choose between a good camera and a good lens, choose a good lens all day, every day, man. All day, every day. Because the sensor just like captures the light that goes into the camera. The lens is what like actually presents the light to the sensor. You got to have a good lens. And you can tell just in these tests that they're showing.
of those lenses, gathering all those features so we
Where was the, oh yeah, here's where they
land, we
flip through a
gather
bunch.
lots, and here we have
You can see them flipping through a bunch of different lenses and just like the little subtle differences in how everything starts to look on the outside, how the bokeh can appear differently. Of course, in some cases it's softer or more profound. Other ones like this one, you get more of like, of course it's a much tighter in angle, but it's also more of like a fisheye look. Is it fisheye? No, it's like more, the focal length is interesting. Yeah, it's just, I love all this stuff. But the fact that they actually went and did physical camera tests with different lenses to get an idea of the different way it would present on screen, and then they went to mimic that in the engine. I love that, man.
we picked before, and we gather lots and lots of shots with different features on it, like distortions, lens flares, bloom, how the bokeh behaves. Based on that, we could really create digital representation of those lenses, gathering all those features so we can really have something unique, and I'm pretty glad about it because this was something I think pretty extraordinary in a gaming engine.
I agree. Looks
My
great.
favorite part is the beginning, essentially. It's where we parallel the traditional preparations that Mione goes through and then the Witcher preparations that Ciri goes through.
For the Mione, we got a more pleasure to eye color palette and a bit warmer. But for the Ciri, we set up our environment darker and more moody. We wanted to create a bit more mysterious mood, which allows us to create more dense atmosphere and bring to the table a bit different story, because at the end, both of characters.
Hold on. I want to read it. Series path. Wait, you have to select the frame that's just sharp enough to read. We divided the idea into two sections called paths. Each one has a unique language and allows us to shape the story. We'd like to set up the tone of the cinematic from character point of view. Our goal is to meet with game direction and cinematography approach. Okay. Mione's path. Sections dedicated to Mione's ability to, and her ability to dedication and indication of her relationship with the community. She becomes a part of the culture. Colorful rise, gentle, low key. Series path sections related to her past and tries to reflect her complex soul. She's hunting alone, the same as traveling through the world. She is the Witcher, but isn't the same as Geralt. Limited color palette, mysterious, high key.
Characters having a unique story behind preparation.
Ciri is watching Jivan saying goodbye to Mione, saying about destiny, saying that she was kind of born almost, meant to make it, right, kind of save them.
It was really important for us
Your
to actually
destiny.
write this monologue in a way that Geralt could have said that about Ciri as well.
Dearest daughter, I've watched ye grow from a devilishly curious child into a remarkable young lass with much grace, wisdom, and kindness.
That makes me emotional because this is also something that she was fighting her entire life. Almost all the time, someone wanted something from her.
Also, sorry to interject with this, but can you just, I can't wait for the soundtrack. Imagine another Witcher soundtrack. Witcher 3 soundtrack is already goated. Imagine we get another one, dude. Even crazier.
created a physical representation of Bauk's shoulders and his attacking arms, and having 4 operators, we kind of recreated the whole monster. On the screen, we saw in real time a moving Bauk. We created Witcher style sequence, just practice it a couple times. We practiced how to move the Bauk, how to synchronize, and it worked beautifully. When it comes to cooperation, like from the animation perspective, we did start with animation guideline for the Bauk. I've known Bauk for a while, and I kind of found a way to divide him into 3 specific parts. So when it comes to the head, for us, it's kind of like a goblin head on a neck of a snake. The front arms are as similar to jaguar as possible, while the pincers are literally scorpion claws, and the tail and the back legs are literally dinosaur. And because of that, we're able to...
I like how he describes this as like, it's like this, this, and this, as he's describing like one of the most horrifying monstrosities imaginable. Yeah, it's just like this, and then you got like these legs and these pincers like that. Yeah, it's, that's just how it is.
To actually create this kind of animation Bible for the Bauk. And then it kind of allowed us to really quickly build this common language to make sure that what we animate at CD Projekt is actually as close as possible to what you see in the trailer.
Journey with
Gonna fight
Unreal
one,
Engine
confirmed.
was wonderful. We were able to have much more tries and instant preview and much more iterations to get to the proper final result.
She were to go to the woods. The chosen one. His tradition.
It's always funny seeing these camera angles of the actors, because of course when it's mapped onto like a mesh and it's animated, it looks very natural. But when you see just like the straight up face with the kind of wide angle lens, and it's just very, very over exaggerated, it's always like a little jarring.
Woods. The chosen one. His tradition.
It's tradition.
Well, the first thing that puts a smile on my face is the runtime, of course. I'm really glad we could pull off 6 minutes so that even if you don't know anything about The Witcher, you can just play it, watch it, and it's a short story that's understandable from the start to finish. I love the slow burn, which is something very unique for a game trailer, I would say.
Every movie that we do, our goal is to have the best knowledge of the IP, to stay true to the IP, to understand the vision of the developers, also the purpose of the asset that we're creating. Knowing the Witcher universe inside out is a key to do something that feels equally original as well as true to its foundation.
This trailer is an adaptation of a story that we actually want to tell in the game. We're not going to give you a black or white situation. We expect you to consider some situations, make some tough choices, and as an example, that situation that may happen after the trailer is over is such a tough choice.
Here's a question. Do you think this time around, because they kind of imply, series like There's Only Monsters here, they kind of imply that she's about to go kick some ass and curb stomp some villagers for being cruel, evil, and backward. Do you think this time around, not being Geralt, they open it up to like some more crazy, maybe dark choices? Do you think they open it up to just be evil and nasty? Like, do you think they open it up? I think that could be very, very interesting if they did. I mean, because the thing with Geralt is that Geralt, as written, has a lot of very clear, obviously there's things he won't do, and there's a certain standard he has to be held to in terms of his moral choices and things. Ciri, I think to a certain extent the same is true, but I think with Ciri they could have a lot more flexibility if you wanted to role play her as just somebody who is more rage filled and purges the evil as she sees it from the world, even if that means going after monsters of a different shape and shade, Yeah, vengeful, yes, evil, no. Yeah, I think that's a good way of describing it. Because it's not killing that villager, for example. that killed the girl would not necessarily be, maybe you could argue it's an evil choice, but it's also one that I think would be justifiable insofar as he just committed an evil. And when she's going and purging the world of, purging monsters from the world and getting rid of those evils, it's not seen as a problem because it's, she's cleaning it up. She's removing the evils. So for her, I mean, I think one of the themes, at least I take away from the trailer, is that the monsters are not just the ones that look like monsters from the outside. Sometimes they're ones that look too familiar, or overly familiar. She robbed, killed, pillaged, and did drugs while in the books. Like any teenager would. That's very normal. Ciri is the monster. Dun, dun, dun. Blake, thing for the 5. I wonder if this is set before The Witcher 4. They did that with 3. The vampire trailer before the base game launch is post Blood and Wine in the story. Oh, wait, no, okay, I'm tracking. Okay, it took me longer than it should have to track what you were saying. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting where it could be in the timeline. My expectation is that they're gonna play with the story with Ciri much more as like as her trying to figure out how she wants to navigate this world. Of course, she, according to what we assume is the canonical like through line with all the stories from 3 to Blood and Wine to Ciri in general in The Witcher 4. I think most people expect that she's been traveling with Geralt's, Geralt's basically retired. He's gone off somewhere else. Maybe he's chilling at his villa in Toussaint. But I think that it could be interesting to explore her running away from her own destiny, or maybe trying to fight it just in whatever way she can. So there's a lot of interesting things they could do, but I think that tone that they struck with her being very vengeful and maybe not in the clearest of mind spaces could be a good place to start the game. So I'm not sure.
He took my thing.